A needle was implanted in this man's ear. If he loses a round of cards, the pillow will push in by 1 millimeter. If he loses a 30-centimeter bet, his eardrum will be pierced. The old man on the other side claimed that he could see through everything, but Kaiji knew very well that all of this was just the other party's deliberate manipulation. Suddenly, an idea popped into Kaiji's mind, and he decided to start by betting on a 2-centimeter round. He looked at the cards in his hand, thought for a moment, and then placed a card face down on the table. Both sides revealed their cards. To his surprise, it was a draw. Kaiji smiled. It was because of this that he realized the other party didn't actually have any mind-reading abilities. But even after seeing through Tonagawa's lies, winning the bet was still difficult. The only card that could defeat the Emperor card was the Slave card, but the probability of getting that combination was only 20%. To ultimately win, Tonagawa might play the Emperor card in the second round. Kaiji thought about it for a long time, then finally placed another card face down on the table. In contrast to Kaiji's expression, Tonagawa appeared quite relaxed, because for him, even if he lost money, it didn't matter. He was enjoying the process, and he wasn't necessarily going to lose. Then, both sides revealed their cards. Tonagawa showed a smug smile.
市民たわいもないこちらが仕掛けずとも自ら転んでくれる
Next, Tonagawa pressed the remote in his hand, and the needle in Kaiji's ear began to drill. The sound of the needle turning caused Kaiji great pain. Suddenly, someone burst open the door to the room. Unexpectedly, it was one of Kaiji's failed comrades, coming to encourage him. But even with the encouragement of his companions, Kaiji's situation was still grim. He had already lost 2 rounds, but still hadn't come up with a strategy. Looking at the seemingly useless slave card in his hand, he began to think deeply again. It felt like a boat drifting in the open sea, not knowing its destination, and this meant a doomed end. The score on the whiteboard kept reminding him of the distance between his eardrum and the needle. To save his life, Kaiji chose to continue the 2-centimeter bet. Tonagawa mocked him for not choosing a 1-millimeter bet. Upon hearing this, Kaiji became very angry. No matter what, he had many companions behind him. Even if he couldn't win the final victory, his momentum couldn't be lost. The game began again. Tonagawa calmly placed a card on the table, but when it was Kaiji's turn, the confidence he had at the start was completely gone. It felt like a different person had taken his place. He felt the cards had become heavier, and he couldn't come up with any strategy. Wrestling between the civilian and slave cards. 2 minutes quickly passed, and he finally chose to place a civilian card on the table, only to see that Tonagawa had placed a civilian card as well. It seemed to relieve some of his anxiety. Tonagawa, too, appeared excited, as he loved to use psychological warfare, slowly torturing his opponents. Normally, when talking with friends, any topic could be treated as a casual conversation, not something to be deeply discussed. But the situation was different now. Because he was betting with his hearing, he had to be very focused. Kaiji knew very well that anyone would be afraid in this situation, even Tonagawa on the other side, because they were gambling, and gambling always comes with risks, so they had to be very careful. After some time, Kaiji stopped hesitating and placed a card on the table. He thought he might win this round, but when both players revealed their cards, Kaiji lost again. Now, he had to face the punishment of the needle drilling deeper into his eardrum. In an instant, it felt as though countless bugs were flying around in his ear. In just a few